I'm going to do a series of videos on how to change your body composition. I know it's the wrong time of year coming up to Christmas, but myself and Sophie, who is there, had a baby recently, and we've kind of been a bit slack when it comes to training and nutrition and so forth. And we both realised that, well, I've got no excuse, but Sophie has an excuse. That we put a bit of fat on, and we're not happy with it really. And I know it's all relative. We're not big folks, but it's all relative. So we thought we'd get a grip of our shit, basically. And we're going to start today, or we have started today. And so I just thought I would share it on here for two reasons. One is to keep us both accountable, and two is it might actually help promote the gym and my personal training business as well. So there's a bit of an ulterior motive to showing these things, and it might be of vague interest to folks. So as I say, we kind of looked at each other today and went, well, carrying a little bit of excess fat. It's not much, in fairness, but a couple of percentage, and it'd be nice to get rid of it. So I want to document how we do it, and I'm not going to go into detail today, but I will document it and show what we've done, warts and all. But today, for example, I went back and trained, just simply did an old school 4 exercise circuit with not much rest, and just decided to dial in the nutrition, just little things. Can make a big difference over a couple of weeks, but I probably need to give myself and Sophie here probably about 6 weeks in order to really see a difference. But if you dial things in without too drastic, then you should see a difference. Now, just on a side note, there used to be a lot of talk 15 years ago. Sophie, that's your alarm gone off. About 15 years ago, 20 years ago, about if you train a certain way, you will generate testosterone and growth hormone, all that being transient, but it still has a definite, or they considered it would definitely have effect on body composition. And of course, growth hormone and testosterone increases should, in fairness, have you get you leaner, certainly in adults. And then it went out of fashion. People said, well, that was a load of old crap and doesn't really work. And interestingly, now recently, gurus that know more than I do have been saying that actually, if you train a certain way, then indeed you do increase testosterone growth hormone, and these hormones will get you lean. And I remember learning about this 20 years ago from a guy called Charles Poliquin, and certainly I adapted those ways and I got lean and ripped up. So maybe we keep on reinventing the wheel in this kind of fitness industry and talking a lot of shite, really. But anyway, my point is, this 4 exercise circuit that I started doing today, which I'll post on this thing here, it makes you feel, if you do it right, it makes you feel a little bit dizzy, a little bit nauseous, and people normally shy away from that. But in adults, because your blood's gone acidic, that stimulates the pituitary gland to release growth hormone, and growth hormone in adults gets you lean. The problem is, of course, it's bloody uncomfortable, as in when you're training, you're out of breath, blowing out your ass, and you've got the horrible burn thing going on, but needs must if I want to get lean. And then little things like coming home and having a piece of chocolate here and there and so forth, I just need to dial that in, and same with Sophie, and she started. Now, as I say, Sophie's got no real I've got the excuse, because the other way around, I've got no excuse. But Sophie, she has to run around after Addie, our little baby, who's now 5.5 months old, so she's still breastfeeding and so on. So a little bit more difficult for her, but I can be a little bit more ruthless. So I will add, if I'm able to, I'm crap at social media, I'll add on here the programs I do. But I promise you, none of it's rocket science. You just dial in what you eat, reduce your carbohydrate intake if you're kicking the ass out of it, and train a little bit consistently, and train a little bit harder than you normally think. You need to basically be blown out your ass a little bit and lift some weights. There's a hybrid ways of training, but I can go through it. Anyway, at the end of this, I'll show you what I did today, and I use a little whiteboard to write them down. and hopefully it'll be of some interest. And I think I've finished waffling now. Yeah, probably. There are some supplements you can use, but it's worth noting that personally I've never used any steroids or growth hormone or performance enhancing drugs, and that's quite important to note that. Not that I'm kind of bigging myself up at all, but a lot of folks that do get lean and muscular fairly quickly, it's often, not always, but often because they're on the gear. And when people talk about muscle mass, gain muscle mass, therefore you burn more fat at rest and so on, in order to gain muscle mass, it is quite difficult if you've been training all your life. But still, no excuse, you can go for it. Anyway, that's enough waffle, I think, for now, and I hope you like the video and the further ones I'm going to post up.